hello, and welcome back to Uncharted and Unfiltered, a journey back to you. It is so nice to be here with you. I want to give you an invitation to come in and sit down on the couch. Let's have a conversation. For those who are new to me and my world, my name is Cynthia Jamieson. I am your host. I am a leadership, life, and career growth coach, and I am really all about helping other people live and lead in a way that feels amazing. And today I want to dive into something that I believe is really, really important, which is the way you're leading. And the reason I want to have this conversation with you is because the world is moving so fast. And whether we realize it or not, the mindset of a leader needs to evolve with such an ever changing world. And so here is the question. Are you going to be upgrading it consciously or remain stuck in an outdated version? This is like not even leaving things the same is going to be serving you in the future. Now, of course, you get to decide if the way that you have been leading is the way that you want to continue to lead, or if you need or want to make a shift in order to match the leader that you are becoming. Now, I think we've all felt this pull of change. Maybe you felt it when a project didn't go as planned, or perhaps when your team's engagement isn't where it could be, or when you start questioning your own balance and your own well being. When you notice these questions from your beautiful brain, like, I wonder if there's another way. Those are the things to cue into. Like, am I doing this? Is there another way? Is there a more effective way? What is an easier way? Those sorts of things can really help you shift and change. And in fact, it's in those moments, the times when you feel frustrated, when you feel stressed, or when you feel like burnout, that those are the signals that are calling you to evolve. Think about them as like smoke signals, if you like, or triggers. And that inner voice that whispers to you, there has to be another way. That's the pull that I am talking about. It's not just about changing for the sake of change. It's about growth and it's about becoming the leader that you are meant to become. Now, I love to use metaphors and analogies, so let's take a moment to introduce one. Let's talk about your phone. I know it's sitting, you're sitting there. You're sitting there, standing there, whatever it is that you're doing, wherever it is we're connecting from in this very moment. I know that your phone is not too far away from you. And my question to you is this: how often do you install software upgrades? Maybe you do it once a month, maybe it's once a quarter, depending on how many apps you have, maybe it's weekly. But let's get real. Sometimes we forget, or sometimes we get lazy and put off updating them. I know this myself, I do this myself. So we think, when I say we, it's a collective we, we think it's fine. It works for now. But here's the thing, just like your phone needs regular updates to run smoothly, effectively, your leadership mindset needs those updates too. And so here's my disclaimer, because unlike your phone, which updates automatically and without much thought on our part as the person who does the download, upgrading your mindset is a conscious choice and it needs to be thoughtfully done. It is an ongoing journey, one that requires effort, self awareness, and sometimes a little discomfort. Now, there's not always a quick fix in the process, but just like the updates on your phone, you would be amazed at the improvements that show up when you stick with it. So here's my question or my invitation to you. When was the last time you upgraded your leadership mindset? When did you last check it for bugs? When did you last squash any limiting beliefs or add new features like empathy, creativity, or resilience? Now, I want to pause here for a moment because I have some mindset shifts that I wanted to make in 2025. And so the final quarter of 2024, I sat and actually walked myself through a process where I had noticed some of the things that weren't working so well for me. And I made a list. I'm sitting here looking at my journal. I made a list of different thoughts, beliefs that I want to integrate into my mindset. So, for example, let me find here. Let me see. Which one would be applicable to you? I am constantly learning, growing, and evolving as an entrepreneur. You could use just as a leader. And so the actionable step I gave to myself is like, I am committed to my growth as a coach and as an entrepreneur, and I embrace challenges as opportunities to learn. I am always learning new ways to improve my business and my client experience. And I evaluate that each and every week. And so I want you to think about it. Maybe you've been leading the same way for years. I know there are many leaders out there who have. I'm not judging, it's just an observation. But if you're holding on to outdated strategies or operating from old patterns, it's not necessarily giving you the result that you want. So as the world changes, so does the need to evolve and change what and how you think. If you're not upgrading your mindset, you're falling behind. So I want to take you back for a moment because I always believe it's important for me to go first in this work. Now, before I started coaching, I was stuck in my own outdated leadership mindset. I can see it now so clearly. But I was so focused on self reliance, high standards that I set for myself, and control that those were the things that led me to success. But they also led me to burnout, to anxiety, to frustration, to stress leave. I was so afraid of asking for help. I was so afraid of letting others in because I feared that it would compromise my version of leadership. And I didn't know at the time, but of course, my brain was associating all of this meaning that I wasn't going to be good enough, that I didn't do enough, that I wasn't capable enough, all of those sorts of different things that are also not true. But I didn't even realize how stuck I was. I had no awareness, no conscious awareness that the pressure that I was putting on myself was not only making me feel like I was failing, even when I wasn't, it was creating a terrible experience for me. I was the conscious creator of what I was feeling inside of me. And I remember you will laugh at this. I remember keeping a cover your ass folder in my desk, way at the back, so that nobody else would find it, just in case something went wrong. And I know I'm not the only leader who did or does. And just know this, if you have one right now, I'm not judging you. I just love you so much right now because it also tells me that you care. But it's interesting, right? Like in the early years of my own leadership, and with a few decades of therapy, a lot of self reflection, and most significantly, since I started getting coaching on my brain, I have shifted so much. I've said this before on the podcast, but there are versions of me like I can't even remember what it was like to be me. And I began to, over time, everything was a loosening of things. And as you shift and grow and change and evolve, the work is never done. If the result that you're wanting and the result that you have aren't the same, that's a signal there is more work to do. But I began to let go of the need for perfection, the fear of trusting others, and the belief that it all had to be done my way. And so many of the leaders that I work with have this same belief, which is not surprising. But let me tell you, this shift wasn't just about feeling better, which I absolutely felt better, but it made its way to help me become a better leader, a better mother, a better wife, a better friend, a better human. And that's what I want for you. I don't get to decide for you, but I can send out a wish for you. But I invite you to think about feeling empowered, adaptable, and creative as a leader. I want you to be able to trust yourself in all of the ways because when the world is changing outside of you in such a rapid pace, the only constant is you. And it's you anchoring in you. And what do you trust? What do you think? What do you believe about who you are as a human? And of course, this extrapolates to your team and step into your true potential. So let's talk about how you can make this happen. Because updating your mindset doesn't mean you have to overhaul everything. I've heard this saying so often, and I dislike it, but I'm going to say it here. We don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think that's a terrible analogy. Anyways, it's about recognizing where your mindset might be outdated or buggy and deciding what do you want to update and why. What do you want to have instead? What do you want to think instead, feel instead? Because maybe it's a letting go of a belief that's been holding you back, like thinking you have to do everything yourself, like I used to think. Or maybe it's realizing your leadership doesn't always need to be perfect to be effective. I just coached a leader on this morning. You will be amazed at the new features that you unlock for yourself, things like innovation, collaboration, resilience. When you take this step, you will not only level up yourself, you will level up everyone around you by doing so. And you will show them what's possible for them as you do this. Leadership does not stop evolving. I would love for you to remember that. Just like software updates come out regularly, your mindset should update regularly as well. This is not a one time fix. It's an ongoing process of reflection, growth, and adaptation, especially for those of you that are listening to this podcast. Like, not everyone is listening to this podcast because it takes a lot of courage to stand up and be an authentic leader. It takes a lot of courage to be able to go beneath the hood of what you think and dive into the subconscious basement and be able to take a look at with curiosity and empathy and love what you think, why you think it, where you learn to think those things, and decide for yourself what you want to do about it. And there is so much true power in doing that. So, my desire for you, my hope is, and my question is, are you ready to start upgrading? Now, you know that I am a big fan of making things practical. It's the logical side of my brain. And those of you who appreciate me for it, I appreciate you for appreciating me. And so feel free to start by identifying even just one specific area of your leadership mindset that you know needs an upgrade. And here's how you can approach it. The first piece is just grab a piece of paper and write down the area where you feel like you need or you want to shift. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's confidence in delegating. Maybe it's embracing vulnerability in your leadership style. Whatever it is for you, just reflect and write it down. Now, for every area you've written down, feel free to write down more than one if you want to, but ask yourself, what belief is holding me back from making a change here? For example, if you feel like you need to control everything, the belief might be if I don't control it, it won't get done right. Challenge that and think about what's the cost of holding on to that belief and what could happen if you let go of it. So the second piece is to challenge the limiting belief. The third piece is to replace that, now that you have that limiting belief, replace that with a new thought or a new action. For example, I trust my team to take ownership and I provide the support that they need to succeed. And then begin practicing it. Practice the thought every day, practice the action every day. And when you feel yourself slipping back into your old habit, which might happen, this is where you don't use it against yourself. Don't make it mean that you're failing. Don't make it mean that it didn't work and that you can't get it and all of that. You don't have to do any of that. Just pause and reframe the situation and begin again as many times as you need to. The fourth piece is to identify one small, actionable step that aligns with this new belief. Now, that might be delegating a task to a team member. It might be asking for feedback, or maybe it's acknowledging when you don't have all the answers, which can sometimes feel hard. Whatever it is, make that commitment today and take action on it. So, just one small shift to commit to. The last piece is to set a reminder for yourself once a week or once a month. I recommend once a week, especially when you're first starting out with it, to check on how this shift is going for you. How does it feel to be you when you are operating from this shift? And what is changing in your interactions with your team or in your results or in your interactions with others? Because this reflection will help you see progress and identify when it's time for another mindset shift. Now, if you like a stretch assignment, I would say the sixth step is celebrating your progress. But the time is now. Don't wait until your leadership system crashes or burns out and you find yourself in that place, because that's just harder to get back to where you want to be when you can start upgrading your mindset today. So, if you're ready to take that next step and you would love to have support as you upgrade it, I would love to work with you one on one. Together, we can uncover the areas where your mindset might be holding you back and create a personalized action plan tailored specifically for you to transform your leadership style. So send me a message or visit my websites to schedule a call. Let's talk about where you are and where you want to go and how I can support you in getting there. And I promise you that if I cannot help you, I will totally tell you that. But here's what I know for sure, hand on heart, it's time to step into your next level leadership. With that, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. Remember, leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being willing to change and evolve. And the world is waiting for our next upgrade. Until next week, keep leading with intention. Take care. I hope that you're walking away feeling more aligned with your true self, more confident in the choices ahead, and ready to leave the safe path behind, knowing you've got everything you need within. Remember, the journey to you isn't about finding one perfect direction. It's about trusting yourself enough to explore all of it. If you're ready to dive deeper, join me for the next episode and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss the next step on your path. I invite you to join my mailing list at www.cynthiajamisoncoach.ca, where we'll deepen our relationship and you can claim your copy of Your Inner Compass, a guide to charting your course to authenticity. Until next time, stay unfiltered, stay true, and most importantly, stay you.